so you'll just give your attention to counsel, starting with plaintiff's counsel. Whenever you're ready, please. Take your time. Ron. Do you want time reserved?
Oh, yes, Judge, yes. Yeah, 30 minutes, Judge, for rebuttal.
Beg your pardon?
30 minutes for rebuttal.
Okay, Mr. Farrar, you're on top of that?
Yes, sir.
All right, whenever you're ready, counsel.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'm very happy to be able to have this opportunity to speak with you this morning. And I know that the families that you see here who have been here every day are very, very grateful to you for your attention and your concern throughout these weeks. I think we've seen just about every aspect of the human experience on display in this courtroom for the past several weeks. And if you're like me, as you've been listening to the testimony, there may be moments where you found yourself drifting to thinking about your own things, your own experience, what's important to you in your own life. And in opening statements, I told you that you had everything you needed to make your decision in this case because you're human beings. You understand what that means. You understand what's important in your life. Your parents, your children, your grandchildren. How you spent your time building a life for yourself and an identity. And there's some very basic principles that I think all of you understand. That you learn as kids, teach your children, teach your grandkids. Things that you know, even though all of you are in different stages of your life. Tell the truth. Don't hurt. Especially when you're down. Stand up to bullies. Because bullies won't stop, especially when being bullied makes them very, very rich. All of these things you know. But there are some things that you probably learned. Things that I didn't even appreciate until I sat through the testimony, and that is how far and wide and deep a lie can spread. Especially when it has the machinery behind it to push it for years and years, infecting parts of American life that are difficult to comprehend. You heard about an organization that was set up for that purpose. For the purpose of spreading lies like that as far and wide as possible. Why? Because the more people see it, the more people come to the website, the more people end up at the store, the richer it gets. And we're going to talk about all of that, but what I want to start with and just acknowledge is what we saw in this courtroom yesterday, which is that the lies that started on December 14, 2012 are continuing to this very day. In 2 months, it will be 10 years. 10 years since these families lost their loved ones. And even now, he's still doing it. I just want to give you a sample of this. Why don't we go ahead and play just a clip from what Mr. Jones said within hours of the shooting.
They have hit the ground running in a build-up, and I said, this is the attack. Look, people got to find the clips the last 2 months. I said, they are launching attacks. They're getting ready. I can see them warming up with Obama. They've got a bigger majority in the Congress now, in the Senate. They are going to come after our guns, look for mass shootings. And then magically it happens. They are coming, they are coming, they are coming.
2 years later, it's the same thing. And by the way, you've seen dozens of videos. I'm going to show you a chart of all the different times over the years Alex Jones was pushing this lie. You've seen dozens of them, but just let's go to 2 years later, January 13th, 2015.
So Sandy Hook is a synthetic, completely fake, with actors.
Synthetic, completely fake, with actors. Now you've heard, some of Mr. Jones's preferred phrases. synthetic, fake as a $3 bill, total hoax. He repeats it over and over, including last week on his show. Let's go to the September 29th, 2022.
It is synthetic as hell.
You saw that video yesterday. It's all made up. Now that I see how rigged this trial is, it's as synthetic as hell. You saw the video where he said, not only is the trial rigged, the jury's rigged. All of you. The judge is a tyrant. That's what he does. Why? Because he knows he needs to maintain his credibility with his audience because they're everything to him, and we are nothing to him. So let's start from the beginning. You heard this testimony. You had millions of listeners by the time you were 24, right? Yes. And you were the beginnings of a media empire, right? Yes. This is the early 2000s. Mr. Jones starting to build methodically that audience that would come to him for the message that he spread on Infowars.com, that message being that there's a conspiracy, a global plot out to get you. A global plot out to get you, to enslave you, to kill you, people in power out to get you. And it's such a convenient message for him to send because every day he's got something new to share with the people that are coming to him about how they know that this is true. And he starts to build Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.com, Prison Planet TV, the centerpiece of his media operation, the Alex Jones Show. Infowars Store, in the early days it was InfoWarsShop.com. And you remember Clint Watts, our expert, he told you that this guy was perfectly situated to take advantage of the way stuff spread on social media. So he has Facebook, all those Facebook accounts, Twitter, YouTube, millions of views, building and building and building this organization to spread this message. Remember Clint Watts, the message. This is Alex Jones's testimony. And the message that you convey to your audience and have conveyed for the last 20-some years is that there's a group of international media, financial, and political elites that are conspiring to establish a global tyrannical government to enslave and ultimately kill people. Yes. Now, to you and me, that's a little far-fetched, right? But to his audience, especially the audience that is getting day after day after day, the same audience that he's telling, I'm the only one that's going to tell you the truth about this, that starts to sink in. Let's play just a sampling of the way he conveys this message, including on the day of the shooting.
They are coming, they are coming, they are coming. They've already taken over healthcare, the premiums are doubling, they're bankrupting that. They're already shipped GM to China. They are going to gut this country, they're going to shut down the power plants, they're going to bankrupt us, they are re-educating us. Just like we were Ukrainians, and they're Russians. They want us bankrupt. They want the counties and the cities bankrupted and federalized. The feds themselves run by globalists. What does the new magazine say? You get it by subscribing. You get 12 issues. Right way. This man wants your guns. And I break down here, they're declaring war on the Second Amendment, period. They are declaring war on the Second Amendment, period. They are coming after our Second Amendment. It is happening. They want to kill America in 2013. That is their goal. That is what they want. They are moving to do it.
They are going to kill America. There is a war. You hear him talk about this a lot. Infowars. Everything's a war. And I'm going to show you a video later of him talking about how he hits the barbed wire and his army comes in after him. And then a couple weeks later, as he's pushing that every single person who's brought this lawsuit is an actor, this is what he's saying to his audience.
I guarantee you they're getting ready for false flags. All the signs are there. And they're going to blame it on us. And we've got to instantly come out and not take the guilt they put on us. Minute one, when they blame us, history of staging stuff. You did it. You're the suspect. You're the suspect. You're the suspect, government. You're the foreign bank-run collaborators. Get out of our country. Get out. Get out. Get out.
Do you understand how dark it is? How far down the line we are? How late it is?
You're the suspect. You're the suspect. 5 years later, it's the same thing. Let's go to September 4th, 2018.
And these people are just your enemy. They hate America. They are congenital frauds. They literally have been trained to hate the country, to hate you and your family. They are the enemy of the American people.
Do you remember what Mr. Watts said about the importance of message? Fear, anger, demonization. That's the message. And who is he demonizing? Who is he saying are the enemies of America that his audience is at war with? These people. And his audience gets it. And he tells them that he's the one they can rely on. InfoWars is the house that truth built. The front line of truth journalism. You remember Ms. Paz was up here and said the one thing that Alex Jones told her in the however many minutes he gave her was he's definitely not a journalist. Now, why was that important? Because he doesn't want you to think, he doesn't want you to hold him accountable for what he says. But what he tells his audience is that they can count on him for the truth in journalism. The Alex Jones Show has the daily developments and important guests to bring you the real truth and nothing but. The house that truth built. This presence, along with hard-hitting content and the courage to speak the truth, it's everywhere. This is Alex Jones. Right after he says, they staged Aurora, they staged Sandy Hook, the evidence is overwhelming.
They staged Sandy Hook. The evidence is just overwhelming. And that's why I'm so desperate and freaked out. This is not fun. You know, getting up here telling you this. Somebody's got to tell you the truth. Somebody's got to stand against these people. Somebody's got to do it.
And what did that kind of message and that kind of fomentation of anger and rage and distrust mean for him? His dad told you. And I'm going to skip to the middle of his answer. But in reality, it has to do with the fact that our customers are so loyal to us that they believe in what we're doing to such a degree that if we say something is good for you and it's a good value, they're going to buy it. And buy a lot of it. That's the audience that he was building. That's the profit that he was seeking in the run-up to the Sandy Hook shooting. And he told us in his deposition, Mr. Jones, would it be fair to say that you expect among the millions of your listeners, many will believe that you are telling them the truth, right? Yes. And sometimes that truth that you tell them is pretty horrifying, correct? Yes. Free speech systems acknowledges that it works. Question, this message that he's been pushing out and telling his audience all these things that they have to fear. A, he has remedies for that. He'll sell them. And B, he's the only one that will tell them the truth about it. That strategy's been working for him, right? Answer? Well, if you're looking at the social media numbers and the visits to the sites, yes. And he knows darn well what kind of danger this represents for people who he targets. Because in 2011, he gave an interview with Rolling Stone, and this is what he said. Some unstable people are drawn to the bright flame of enlightenment, that is so-called conspiracy culture. Some trees are going to become uprooted in a storm like this. He's the one doing the uprooting. He's the one exploiting his audience and their fears and creating the storm. And so by the time December 2012 rolled around, this is the organization that he was sitting on. This is an organizational chart. You may remember when this came up. Because it was very, very important for the defense to try and suggest to you that this is just some fly-by-night operation. Alex Jones just gets up there and there's no rhyme or reason to any of it. It's very important for them to try and tell you that none of this is calculated. They're not out to make money. And they even asked their own corporate representative, there's no organizational chart, is there? No, I haven't seen one. I get up here and I show her the organizational chart. I show her the organizational chart that InfoWars' own lawyer had seen. Because this is what an organization looks like that's ready to pounce. That has all the tools in place, all the people in place, ready to go. And if you look at the numbers that they provided from January 2009 to November of 2011, just for the two websites that they had during that period 272 million sessions just on those two websites. I'm not talking about social media. 106 million users. 678 million page views. So when you're thinking about the impact of what Mr. Jones said on the day of the shooting and the weeks after, understand that this is the audience that he was telling it to. That's what he was doing. That's what he was doing. He was getting ready. He was waiting for an opportunity. But what about these families? What were they doing? They were just living their lives. They'd never heard of Alex Jones. This is the Parker family. Robbie graduated, become a physician assistant, to work in the NICU. They're going to move to Connecticut. He got a job where he could train in the NICU because he wanted to take care of sick babies. 3 little girls coming to San Diego to start a life. Robbie had been on a mission to Brazil as a young man as part of his Mormon faith. You remember he courted Alyssa and she didn't even realize it. He was hanging outside her softball games and she just thought they were friends. Was clueless to the fact that Robbie was trying to court her. Why did we go through all these stories? And I'm going to go through a little. Why did we spend so much time? Because we wanted you to see that while these weren't real people to Alex Jones, they were real people. They had real stories. They had been building real lives. They had real identities that really mattered. The Wheeler family. Ben and Nate, Francine and David. They moved to Sandy Hook about 5 years before. Both Francine and David, more so David, struggled trying to be an actor in New York. Francine, born singing. They met. David said, when I met Francine and I realized I wanted to be with her, I saw green lights all the way down. Ben. Went to Starbucks with his mom that morning. I want to be an architect and a paleontologist because Nate wants to be a paleontologist. And I love Nate and I love you, Mommy. The Barden family. Now the Barden family gets 2 photos because I had to include the band. And I didn't want to leave Jackie out. Jackie, the 9th of 10 children, Irish immigrants, used to run around the A&P while her father was working at night. Mark, a guitarist. Mark worked nights. Jackie worked days. But what Jackie told you is we thought that was best for our kids. Because Mark used to come during the day, he spent so much time, she was a little bit envious of that. He got to go gig at night. Daniel tucked his books under his pillow and would get such a kick out of his mom pretending that she didn't know and then find him when she put her head on his pillow. And he wanted to walk James and Natalie to the bus stop that morning. Richmond family, Abiel. Abiel's got her hair back here, but if you remember, she did that crazy hair. A little touch of mischief. You remember the story how she had candy in her mouth, she wasn't supposed to, her cheeks all bulged out, and her mom just let her because she spoiled her. These are real people, real families, just going about their lives. The Solar family. Vicky stomping around on the second floor to irritate her sisters and her brother getting ready for work that morning. She left Christmas music on her car. And you saw the pictures of her dressed up all crazy with her hair up high, because all she wanted to do was care for and inspire and teach those kids. And when she got to school, she had spilled a little coffee on herself, and Dawn helped her clean it up. And Donna, the matriarch, had all her kids in her house. Nurse. Bill Oldenburg. Bill Oldenburg's a hero. Wanted to be a police officer. Put himself in harm's way. Went to the school that morning in such a rush he didn't even get his equipment. He comes into the schoolroom, he doesn't sit with the families because he doesn't feel worthy. Bill and Mary, Bill. What he talks about Mary is moving. All she was doing was waiting for grandkids. Dawn, book fairy. Dawn, who was so determined and feisty that as a result of her own persistence, there's a Naugatuck High School girls track team even today. Dawn, who met with Ian Hockley when he came to Sandy Hook, and all he had to do was meet her to know how much she cared about the kids in her classroom and in her school. And she's the reason they wanted to be at Sandy Hook. Fiercely devoted to her daughters, along with Mary Sherlack, confronted the shooter that moment. Died saving children. The Hockley family. Dylan. Moved from England. Nicole was finally going to be home, take a step back, be part of the community, spend time with the kids. Dylan had autism. But had a great accomplishment that morning. First time he finished his vitamins. He was so proud that he had done something that his mom was hoping he would be able to do. He was so proud. Just go back. These memories, right, that we spent a long time talking about. These are the same experiences that all of you might have on any particular day Francine yelling at Ben, close the door. Jackie heating up Daniel with a hairdryer. All these little memories. Dealing with finishing his vitamins. They're just day to day. They might seem mundane. But after what happened, they're so important. They're so important. It's what they have. But as these families were living out their daily lives, Alex Jones was readying to pounce. And I want to play you this because this articulation of what he is and what his audience does in response to him perfectly encapsulates what he was about to unleash on these families on December 14th, 2012.
That's why you keep missing the main calculation. I am a precision-guided heavy munition coming in on top of you. So I get the barbed wire, and everybody else comes in over me. Have you seen what we've done on talk radio now? Sounds just like me.
That's what happened. He was a precision-guided heavy munition. And when he took the stand here, I told him, you put a target on their backs. And that's exactly what he did. And he knew that his army was coming after him. And this, I'm going to show you here. Just in case you've forgotten what this timeline was what the timeline was like in the first month after the shooting, what Alex Jones did. I'm going to show you what he did. This is the anatomy, the birth of this lie that continues to this day. He goes on the air within hours. These families hadn't even left the firehouse yet. Connecticut school massacre looks like false flag, witnesses say. Brittany Paz acknowledged that was false. Now, I want you to remember this too. They didn't give us this video. Why? Just like they didn't give us financial data, they didn't give us analytics. Why? Because they don't want you to know just how deliberate this was. We had to get this on our own. You know what else they didn't give us? What he did the next day, the 15th. We have no video from the 15th, but we know they put up Robbie's statement immediately after he gave it, firehouse, because Rob Dew told you. When we saw Robbie Parker, we put that on the air immediately. That's the next day. The 17th, Alex Jones tells his audience, they're doing it, they're staging it. On the 17th, they run San Diego Mass Media PSYOP outtakes and bloopers. On the 19th, he puts out a statement lying about Robbie Parker and saying this needs to be looked into. On the 20th, they run again this story that, hey, Sandy Hook was planned in advance, you know, by the Batman movie. And what did she say? Brittany Paz? They don't even know if it was in the Batman movie. That's how callous they were, but how important it was to them to start getting this lie going, getting it going. The next day, the 21st, do you remember this? Don Salazar sent some guy did some movie review. We thought this was surely ridiculous. However, we're going to point it out in an article anyway. That's the week. That's the first week. And sure enough, as soon as he did it, everyone else came coming in over him. The threats, the harassing, the fear, the allegations of actors. When every single one of these families were drowning in grief. And Alex Jones put his foot right on top. More of it. More of it. January 6th, Don Salazar trying to sign up for a crisis actors website. And they're having a professor on who's saying that crisis actors are involved. Alex Jones, in this email, wants the guy on to talk about the crisis actors in January. Another one, January 10th, another one. Ending on January 27th is the first 6 weeks why people think San Diego's a hoax. And finally, on January 29th, one of the parents sends an email. Why are you doing this? Please stop. We're being targeted. Look at this. There is no, they told you, there is no other organization, media company that they're aware of who was doing anything like this. Of course not. But Alex Jones was set up for it. Look at this. You saw this in opening. Look at what this did for him. From December to January, sessions up 38%, users up 36%, page views up 43%. I just want to go back to this for a second, because you remember the testimony you heard about spikes, about how they try to emulate it. This is Alex Jones seeing in real time that this is working. It is working. And he doesn't care what's going on over here. Just like he doesn't care what's going on in this courtroom. It's working for him. And you saw all the videos in 2013. But in November 2013, 11 months after, the state's attorney who investigated this puts out his report. InfoWars has it. Brittany Potts testified, yeah, that report establishes 26 people were murdered at the school. It's real. They know. You remember this testimony from Rod Duke?
As you sit here today, you have no recollection of having read the state's attorney's report of his investigation on the circumstances surrounding the San Diego shooting, correct? Correct. Don't you think that would have been a source of information that you would have wanted to consult if you were interested in the facts and circumstances surrounding the shooting? Objection.
I don't know what I was thinking at the time.
Except that's not true. You know exactly what they're thinking. You know exactly what they're thinking. They were thinking dollar signs. Look at this. From 2012 to 2013, this is what happened to their audience. They didn't care what the report said. They didn't care. They didn't care what was happening to these families. In fact, the harassment, the engagement of their audience, that was a good thing for them. That was part of their method. You remember Clint Watts, the 4 M's, messenger, method? The importance of that engagement, the importance of whipping up their audience, the importance of showing their audience kind of viral confrontation that was so valuable to Alex Jones? They're trying to take care of their surviving children. They're mourning the loss of their mom, wife, their sister, trying to get through this. And Melissa Parker described it as an assault. An assault. And that's exactly what it was. And I want to go through this example because I think it crystallizes that slide that we just looked at with the audience growth. It crystallizes the way that pushing of that line in January worked for them. Do you remember this? I remember during this, I was up here the whole time, going through these graphs. FBI says no one killed at San Diego. Now this is September 2014. It's a lie. Free Speech Systems came up here and admitted, oh no, that was a lie. Yeah, no, the FBI did report people have been killed in San Diego, of course. But they published this article because imagine how they can breathe life into this thing. This is 2 years after the shooting. 2 years after, a year after the report comes out. Alex Jones, he set that flame. And now he's just keeping it going. And look at what happens. Look at the payoff. The payoff. The spike. And look at this to me, the importance of social media to what he was doing. You remember this? September 23rd, most of their traffic, before the article comes out, most of their traffic is coming directly, right? People are coming to the website. Only 24% are coming through social media. They publish this article and look what happens. The percentage of traffic coming to their website through social media doubles. Doubles. Then it goes up again on the third day to 66%. It's taking off. It's a lie. It's a lie that nobody died, that the children didn't exist, that these families weren't real. It's a lie. But it's working. Look at the audience increases. And remember that these graphs that Free Speech Systems created, they were created like a month or so after. Because they were looking at it like, whoa, look at what happened. Look at what happened. Look at the money. Look at the money pouring in. Go from 48,000 in a day on just one store website, remember, to 232,000. Remember Tim Fruget, their e-commerce director. You have this transcript. This is the one I think where Judge Bells pointed out that my voice is a little heckly. So you have the transcript. But look at what he said. So if we scroll down to the period of time we were just looking at, where there was a spike in traffic to Infowars.com, and we scroll down to the same date range, the third week, September 2014, you can see, can you not, the beginning of September 24th, that is a 2-day spike in revenue. I mean, there's a spike, yes, I agree with you. And when you're having your daily call with Alex Jones, and you see a spike in revenue like that, from 48,000 to 232,000, you're telling me about that, right? Yeah, of course. So when you're asking yourself, gosh, why would he keep doing that? Why wouldn't he let Robbie have a break? Why wouldn't he let up? Why wouldn't he let these families try to heal and move on with their lives? This is why. His dad. Okay, are you aware whether Free Speech Systems collects data concerning when, during an Alex Jones broadcast, it has the most sales activity? Only in the sense that if there have been days where we had extraordinarily good sales, someone will say, what was Alex saying when that happened? So we like to emulate spikes. Now, you know all this, but it's right there. Look at this. this article of all the tens of thousands or however many pages they created during the 7 years. FBI says nobody killed at Sandy Hook. You'll see this exhibit. It's 8th on the list, but it's like the 3rd article. The 3rd most popular article of that whole time. This one. There's like the landing page and the homepage and everything else, but in terms of the way people access the website, this is the 3rd most popular article during that time. Now I want to talk to you a little bit about the method. And the reason I'm doing all this is because I want everybody to, it's one thing to be instructed, as the judge will instruct you, that Alex Jones was the cause of all this. It's another thing to see it, right? It's one thing to be told that these families were real. And it's another thing to hear it from their own voices about their experience. And so when Attorney Pattis comes up here and says, why did they spend all this time talking about Alex Jones? Because you need to see it. You need to understand the cruelty of this. And the method that he used. It's the engagement of his audience. Send tips. Right? I'm going to skip this.
It is happening. They want to kill America in 2013. That is their goal. That is what they want. They are moving to do it. Send your tips to Real Alex Jones on Twitter. Tell me what you think. Comment in the articles. I'll be reading what you're saying. We'll have more reports Sunday 4 to 6, and more reports tonight on the Nightly News 7 o'clock. PrisonPlanet.tv.
Send your tips. This is what he says. The week of the shooting, it appears that members of the media or government have given him a card and are telling him what to say as they steer reaction to this. So this needs to be looked into. I have never once told you this is a way of getting his audience involved. Look into it. Look into it. I asked Robbie, did you get looked into? This needs to be investigated. As he shows Robbie coming up in slow-mo. And you know, one of the things that really ticked me off in this trial was when Brittany Paz told you that they never even aired Robbie's full statement. They never even aired it. They didn't air him talking about his daughter Emily. Why? Because anybody who sees that knows that Robbie's a real grieving father with a real daughter who loved to write cards. But they didn't want to show that. They wanted to show this 3-second video of Robbie reacting to a joke his dad made, calling him his high school nickname to try and put him at ease. Robbie wasn't a person to him. Alyssa and his daughters weren't a family to him. They were a prop that he played over and over and over again. Even last week, you saw the video yesterday, he couldn't leave him alone. The camera pans to Robbie Parker, shaking with emotion in the presence of Alex Jones. He won't leave him alone. More method. Think about the people he highlights on the show. Remember this guy, Matthew Mills? Anything else, soldier? Anything else you want to tell us?
I mean, you're really doing a great job, and you're another example of how we're going to defeat the enemy, and people just realize they are the future. They are the resistance. I mean, anybody can do this, folks. We just decide to grow some guts and take action. And so, again, great job. And you're saying you didn't plan any of this. You were just literally led by the Spirit?
Yeah.
Anybody can do this. You just got to have some guts. Take action. And we know that Matthew Mills took action. Matthew Mills showed up as the Soto family was trying to honor Vicky, waving a picture at them, claiming that Vicky was fake, that they were fake. Remember when Matthew Mills said, Alex Jones, hey, I got a couple of other things I'd like to infiltrate. I'll talk to you about them off air. But this is what he highlights because it's valuable to him. You haven't seen this before. This isn't evidence. Do you remember Wolfgang Halbig coming up and being confronted by the police? Here it is.
Okay, let's call it.
When you get,
I didn't your face. Are you walking to me or am I walking towards you now?
I'm standing there.
Are you walking
No,
towards
I'm
me?
looking at you. I used to be a police officer.
Then show me some respect.
How about the same?
I will. You start showing me something, I'll start showing you something.
I can see it.
Right?
I can see it. Very polite, very courteous.
Yes, well, that's fine. That's the way I operate.
I do.
We'll have no problems. Right?
That's Wolfgang. What about another of these uprooted trees that Alex Jones liked to praise?
Do you know what we privately say about Badani when we say my mission? What? Release the Kraken.
This is what happens.
This guy here is somebody on a central cast in the planet. This is the exact person that they would hire to represent criminals, folks. The Sandy Hook truth is coming out, you people go to jail. You can smile all you want, you're going to jail for fraud. Plain and simple.
All right, look at his credentials. Dan Badani, Infowars.com, the #1 alternative news source in the world.
Matthew Mills and the rest. What's happening? Can you see it? He's telling his audience, he's signaling to his audience, this is what he likes. This is what I want. Dan Badani, Wolfgang Halbig, Matthew Mills. Here we are 4 years after the shooting. He says it's his final statement on Sandy Hook. You know what's fine.
And so, if children were lost in Sandy Hook, my heart goes out to each and every one of those parents and the people that say they're parents that I see on the news. The only problem is I've watched a lot of soap operas, and I've seen actors before. And I know when I'm watching a movie, I know when I'm watching something new. Let's look into Sandy Hook.
Just think about this. This is 2016. Remember what happened to Francine? 2016? She's at a conference for grieving mothers, mothers who have lost children in their lives. And she's there to counsel other mothers and be counseled. And a woman who had lost her son just 3 weeks before, somebody who would be the last person you would think would have anything but sympathy for somebody situated like they are. And she says to her, they said that didn't happen. Robbie and Alyssa moved to the West Coast with their kids to get away. Their house and what they paid for it is put up 3 weeks later. Ian Hockley goes to a parking lot, to a Target. He comes out, somebody's following there, puts a business card on his windshield wiper with Robbie's face on it. People in the Parkers' church. Matthew Soto goes to college. His professor takes a survey of the class. How many people can see this deal? Alex Jones penetrated American society with this lie in a way that they can't escape from. And how did he do it? By telling his audience over and over and over again that they should investigate it, and praising them when they take action, including 2 weeks ago. Alex Jones went on the barbed wire and everybody else came in after him, right to Waterbury, Connecticut. And he commended them.
This isn't Bravada. This is America. This is Texas. This is freedom. This is Christianity. This is resistance. My forebears fought tyranny and were incredible people, and I will live up to their measure. And you will as well. So don't ever, as dark as the hour is, and as out of control things are, don't you ever not realize how important you are and what you've done with your word of mouth and your action. And I'm talking to people that went to that puppet courthouse in Connecticut and put InfoWars stickers up everywhere. We commend you.
It worked. Take a look at this chart. Remember what Clint Watts said is one of the things that you have to do if you really want a lot to take hold is repeat it over and over and over again. Now, we didn't get videos. We've shown you a couple dozen videos, but you know we don't have all the videos. But what we did get were these logs, these radio logs, where we were able to tell that they were talking about San Diego. Look at this. Look at this repetition. Rouget would tell Jones, hey, whatever you did, it worked. And the audience he was building, look at this, just on social media. Look at this. Look at this. Just on social media alone. YouTube. Just InfoWars.com. And he acknowledges it. You know that during the years, let's just say from 2012 onward, Mr. Jones' social media audience expanded dramatically year over year over year, correct? Yeah. As we've been talking about throughout this deposition, that expanded audience, that expanded revenue for free speech systems in Mr. Jones. That's correct. And this is what he's built. About the money he made. Now, Brittany Paz came up here, remember? And I think it's pretty clear that she wasn't going to say anything that they didn't want her to say, or that they didn't prepare her to say. It seems like a long time ago now that she testified. There was a time probably where it felt like her testimony would never end. I take responsibility for some of that, I guess. She testified that although she didn't see all the sales revenue, the range she gave you as Free Speech Systems corporate representative was $100 million to $1 billion from 2012 to today. Now, I want you to ask yourself, if Ms. Paz was willing to say that you did $1 billion, if that's what she came up here prepared to say, I think it's more or less than that. We don't know how much they made. No idea. Just going to tell you that it provides, could be 500 million, could be $1 billion, could be 5 billion. Whatever it was extremely valuable to Mr. Jones. It provided him with all the incentive he needed to do what he did to his families. We know that in 2020, he had a pretty good day, $810,000 in a day. You can do that math. Of course, he's telling them every day. So, let me ask how much time I've expended here.
53 minutes.
Thank you, Attorney Pattis.
Yes. I want to talk to you about damages. First, I want to talk to you about defamation and slander per se. You've just seen evidence. You've seen it across these 4 weeks of defamation on a historic scale. 10 years. Targeted to people who are in their most vulnerable moments. And the judge is going to instruct you on what this is, but I want to give you an example. Because defamation, why do we have something called defamation per se? Basically means that if someone lies about you in a way that's important to you, whether you know about it or not, no matter how many people they tell it to, that is a harm. That is a harm that they can seek to redress by coming to a jury to restore their character and their reputation. Because when a lie is told about somebody, it's harmful to our society. It's harmful to them. And so let me just give you an example to make this real. And I'll make myself an example. Let's say I'm a dad, a family man, kids, and all I care about is being a good dad. Waking up with them, coaching the teams, helping them with their homework, being home on the weekends. That's what matters to me. That's my identity. That's my sense of self-worth. When I see my kids be good, kind, happy kids, that makes me feel good. That's what I want to be known for. And let's say that somebody out there, for whatever reason, decides to lie about me. They want to say, that guy, Maddie, yeah, he may present himself as a good dad, but he abuses his kids. He sends them to school with bruises. They're scared. He's a monster. That's a terrible lie. And let's say he just tells one person. Just one person. The law says that I can come into this courtroom and ask a jury to restore my reputation, my character. Reputation is just another word for character. What it is that is most important to you, your identity. And I want you to ask yourself, if that happened, just one person, and I came in here and I told you to please hold that person accountable for the harm that they've caused me. I want you to think about what that might be worth. What kind of verdict would be reasonable in a case like that? Just one person. I don't know. Pick a number. 50,000, 10,000, 1,000, $100. Pick a number. That's what we're talking about, okay? That's defamation per se. Now I want you to keep that number in mind. Keep that number in mind as you realize that what Alex Jones did was tell that lie at a minimum 550 million times. That was Clint Watt's testimony. 550 million. Minimum. That doesn't count his website. That doesn't count his radio. That's 6 years between 2012 and 2018 on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube alone. 550 million times. And it's not just one person he said it about. It's 15. Think about that. Whatever number you had in your mind, for me, the lie about me to one person, multiply it by 550 million, and then multiply it by 15. Because the judge is going to instruct you that your job is to award fair, just, and reasonable damages. Nothing more, but nothing less. Nothing less. And if you thought it was reasonable in your own mind for a guy like me who'd been lied about once to be awarded whatever the number is, then that's reasonable for them. 550 million times minimum. And you may say that's astronomical. It is. It is. It's exactly what Alex Jones set himself up to do. That's what he built. He built a lie machine that could push this stuff out. You reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. And you might think, you know what? That's not enough. We know 550 million is just a fraction of how many people actually got that. But that's the number we were able to present to you because they didn't provide us with all the information. Me and you. Just think through it. But when you think about the scale of the defamation, you're going to be instructed on how to think about it. Remember the lie I told you about? The lie that somebody is actually an abusive father? That's bad. That's bad. But what about the lie he said about them? They faked their 6-year-old and 7-year-old's death. They faked their sisters. They faked their wife's death. They faked their mom's death. They're actors. They're part of a plot. They're part of a plot to take your rights away. If you're just one uprooted tree, Mr. Jones' audience has been telling me for years that they're coming for you. These people who are just normal people become their enemy. They start to hunt them. That's the scale of the defamation here. And it wasn't just about some side issue. The lie went to the heart of who they are, the defining moment in their lives, the loss of a child. It went to the heart of who they are. That's defamation. So that's a baseline. That's a baseline. The second component of damages you're going to be asked to consider has to do with emotional distress. I want to read to you a section of instructions that Judge Bellis will give to you. In assessing the invasion of the plaintiff's privacy and their emotional distress damages, you may consider that it is already established that the defendant's conduct was extreme and outrageous. Indeed, in many cases, the defendant's extreme and outrageous conduct is clear evidence that emotional distress existed. This gets back to why I've spent so much time talking about how reprehensible and outrageous what he did was. Because you know from that of course it's going to cause people distress. The duration of the conduct. The defendant's conduct in spreading the statements and their actual spread. The harassment the plaintiffs endured. The plaintiff's fear of harassment. The nature and duration of the invasions of the plaintiff's privacy. The nature and duration of the plaintiff's emotional distress, including future distress. Isn't that what you heard about? This is the part of the case that only you, as a group of people, can really understand what they've done. Francine and Mark both told you that, and Robbie, they told you that losing a child, especially in the way they lost their children, was bad enough, it was enough. But dealing with this, dealing with lies and harassment, even as you're preparing to bury your child or your mom or your sister or your spouse. Think about that. Robbie finding his wife curled up in a coat closet at Emily's viewing because she was terrified that people just in the days after the shooting were going to come and disrupt it. Want to see Emily's body. Nicole Hawk taking out that insurance policy on herself because she believes she's going to be killed to this day, sleeping with mace, bat, knife next to her bed. Mark Barden, scanning, constantly scanning who might be approaching them. Jennifer Hensel always looking in the back seat. Erica Lafferty receiving threats to rape her. She's moved 5 to 6 times in 10 years. She's on the run. The Parker family on the run. How can this be? Their lives were shattered on December 14, 2012. Alex Jones has made it so they can't escape. They can't escape. Soto children in their own town of Stratford. Their own town. People who Vicky grew up with. So we trust you, I trust you to understand what that means. And let me just end with Robbie and Melissa. One of the things that Robbie said that stuck with me ever since he told me was the shame and the guilt he feels. Because if he just hadn't done that, if he hadn't made that statement trying to eulogize his daughter to the world, maybe this wouldn't have happened. Think how he carries that, not just for his own family, but for every other family. Bill Oldenburg, same thing. Bill Oldenburg sat on the stand. And he told you that the worst part about this is the guilt he feels. Because if he had just put on his equipment, just put on his vest the right way, maybe David Wheeler wouldn't have had to go through this. Because these people are struggling for answers. Why? Why? They're good people. These are good people. And what happened to them is not right. It is not okay. And it's going to be your job to make sure that Alex Jones, who has refused to even come into this courtroom to see the testimony of these plaintiffs, to understand the harm he has caused, that he gets it. It is your job to make sure he understands the extent of the wreckage he he has caused. Because you know damn well he doesn't get it right now. He should. He should get it. Do you remember this? He brought a lawsuit for defamation while this lawsuit was pending. He himself recognizes that the words are so obviously hurtful that they require no proof that they caused injury in order for them to be actionable. And what was this harm? This catastrophic damage that Alex Jones suffered. A tweet with 20 retweets and 37 likes. Oh, he gets it. He gets it. But he doesn't care. And this is just getting back to Clint Watts, the $550 million. I wanted to show you this testimony. I'm sure you remember it. But when you compare that to the 20 tweets and Alex Jones, give me a break. But you know, Alex Jones is the victim, isn't he? But here's how you know why it's so important, why this case is historic, why you have an opportunity to do something as representatives of this community. Because I had Alex Jones on the stand, and I said, you're going to do it again, aren't you? This is a few weeks ago, and look what he is doing. Look what he's preparing his audience for. What is he conditioning them to believe? Which families is he going to hit the barbed wire and be a precision-guided munition on next? You think he takes any of this seriously? What do you think it means when he tells his audience that Judge Bellows is a tyrant? You think they know what that means? You think they get it?
I am so sick of the New World Order. I am so sick of this cult of psychopaths. I am so sick of their lies and their fraud. I don't believe anything they say. And I apologize for nothing I've ever done because I did it all from a place of purity, and I've been 98% accurate. You go to Yahoo, you go to Google, you go to Instagram, you go to Facebook, it's Alex Jones at the top, setting us dead kids, families for weeks on, never said their names, never even talked about them, all made up. And it's like, oh, my kid died, oh, and Alex Jones caused it, and it's all loud. You're like, oh my God, Jones, you're under such attack. We better not be like you. I'm under attack because I expose these people. I'm just going to be completely honest. I totally enjoy it. And so, I mean, I've reached that point of real peace where I don't just have peace with this, I enjoy it now.
I don't even know what to say about this. I really don't. Except that one thing is crystal clear. He's signaling to everybody in this globe he is going to do this again. He enjoys it. Think about the callousness that's required, the cruelty that's required to say something like that. After these families have been in here for weeks, telling you about the most intimate, private parts of their lives, explaining to you what they've been through, who they are. wasn't here, he didn't see it, he doesn't care. You saw it. You saw what he did. You saw they're going on 10 years. 10 years of defaming these families. And it's not stopping. You remember Bill Oldenburg's testimony? Where he's talking about how it's going to keep going. He said it's not speculative. And you know it's not. It's going to keep happening and happening. Francine, Nicole, Mark, Jackie, they talked about what it means for their children, their surviving children, to know that they may be confronted just as they have been, not even protectable. Why? Because this lie is out there, pushed by Alex Jones. So it's not just damages for the emotional distress they've suffered these 10 years. It's going to keep happening. And so after you've considered the damages for defamation pro se, and you consider the emotional distress they've gone through, make sure you remember that this is going forward. And this is their one chance, and your one chance to render a verdict on just how much devastation Alex Jones has caused. It's been a real privilege for us to represent these families. I can't tell you how fortunate and lucky we feel. And I think it's a real privilege for you too, to be in this position. You represent this community. What will you do? Will you render a verdict that finally forces Alex Jones to truly understand just how devastating his conduct has been? Because that's the only way. That is the only way he will stop. What will our community's verdict be on what's happened here? You saw it. I want to thank you very, very, very much. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so we are going to take our mid-morning recess, which we all need, including the staff. We're going to come back right at 5:12 to continue. It'll be Attorney Pattis's turn next. I know you know the rules of juror conduct. Again, not a word about anything that you just heard, anything else directly or indirectly connected with anything to do with this. I am going to stay on the bench. I have a housekeeping issue to deal with. So, Mr. Farr, if you could take our jurors, and we will see you at 5:12. Please be seated. I know, Attorney Pettis, I was going to let you make the decision as to whether you wanted to go before the break, but I actually need a break. So I take leave. But there was also one thing, and I imagine Attorney Maddie was not in the room. Attorney Pattis had asked, on the record, of course, whether I had any issues with him reading from the charge, any part of the charge, and I said my preference was that it not be done. I assume you weren't in the room, not a problem, but I just wanted to let Attorney Pattis know, in light of Attorney Maddie reading from the charge, obviously you're free to do so as well.
I may in one section then, with your permission.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, I was not here for that. I was not aware.
I understand that, but I just wanted to make sure that it was fair to Attorney Pettis, which is another reason I thought, let me take the break now in case you needed to tweak anything.
Thank you.
But I really did need a break too. All right, so we'll take our morning recess. Mr. Farrar, can I see you for a moment, please?